to jury selection in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Combs will be present in a New York court this morning as he faces multiple charges, including racketeering and sex trafficking. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky is there at the court for us. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Robin. Plenty of famous faces have appeared at this courthouse, but never before has such a cultural force stood trial. And moments from now, they're going to begin picking a jury of ordinary citizens to sit in judgment of a chart-topping rapper and music impresario. This morning, jury selection begins in the most anticipated trial of the year, the racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking trial of Sean Combs. Known by various names through the years, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Combs became one of music's most influential figures.
Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
But federal prosecutors are now out to prove he used his power, wealth, and fame to force women into prolonged, drug-fueled orgies he called freak-offs, and then threaten them into silence.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be.
Combs rejected a last-minute offer to plead guilty. His attorneys are out to convince the jury the government is trying to police consensual sex by a swinger who they say invited third parties into his bedroom.
The prosecution in this case are going to be looking at attitudes or experiences towards government and prosecutors. If they believe that, prosecutors unfairly target individuals, particularly minorities. The defense side, they're going to be looking at individuals' sexual preferences and feelings about hip hop music and hip hop lifestyle.
Prospective jurors have already answered written questions about their knowledge of Combs, their ability to be fair, and their tolerance for a 2-month trial with explicit evidence. That includes video obtained by CNN showing Combs chasing then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura down a hotel hallway in 2016, knocking her down and kicking her. Combs later issuing an apology video.
I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Combs has appeared thinner than when he was first arrested back in September, his hair grayer. Jury selection could take about 3 days, and then, guys, opening statements are scheduled 1 week from today. Guys.
Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. Our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, is here. How tough is it going to be to pick a jury here?
They'll be able to find a jury. Look, they've got a lot of these questions already being asked in the form of a questionnaire, right? And I find that in a lot of these high-profile cases, you see when you start talking to people, people aren't following the ins and outs of these cases the way certainly I am or we are every day. People know that he's been indicted. They don't know the details of the case. The critical point here in jury selection is going to be trying to avoid the wrong jurors, right? It's not about, we're going to find a jury that's all going to be really helpful to our side. Each side is trying to make sure they don't pick particularly bad jurors. It'll take a little longer than a typical case, but they'll be able to find a jury.
All excellent points there. How strong is the prosecution's case, and what could possibly be the defense's strategy?
So it's going to come down to the quality of the witnesses that they call, meaning how persuasive are these accusers? Remember, these are people who also filed civil lawsuits against him. So we don't know yet. This is not an easy case for prosecutors, that's for sure, because as a legal matter, they're going to have to show that this was coercion, that this was forced, and the defense is going to be, these are people who had known him for years. These are people who were in relationships with him. This was consensual on their part. And remember, the prosecution has the burden of proof. We talk about it every time. That gives the defense advantage because the prosecution has to prove it all beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right, but it all starts today.
Today.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Dan.